Hello guys, this is Dr. Dheeraj. I'm a consultant anesthesiologist in a corporate hospital, and today I'm going to tell you 10 things you need to consider before choosing a branch in the NEET counseling. So many of you are choosing a branch based on what super specialties are available or what fellowships are available and what is the kind of salaries you'd be getting and all those things. But I'm going to tell you 10 different things you wouldn't be thought about, and these are the things you need to consider in a longer term. So, guys, number one would be the sustainability of the branch. Sustainability is more like, for example, if any threats are there for a particular branch, you need to see artificial intelligence, for example, can be a threat to some branches like radiology, pathology, microbiology, and such kind of branches. So, you need to do a detailed research about that. I've done a video in my channel. You can check out that one. And you can another example I can quote is the anesthesiology also as a threat. The so-called scarcity factor, which was there when I was doing anesthesiology, is no longer existing because the threat is the number of people that is being produced in every hospital. Around 15 to 20 PGs are there in some of the hospitals, and some hospitals there's nearly 65 PGs also. So that is also kind of a threat I'm looking into when talking about the branch. And also in some specialities like surgical specialities, the even during the practice only 1 to 5% will succeed in the sense crazy amounts only 1 to 5% will make. So that also you have to consider when you are choosing. So all these factors I put under a banner called the sustainability of the branch. So that is a very important thing. Let's go to point number 2. So point number 2 is the competition. So competition is like the surgical branches are under immense pressure of competition. So what's happening is there are a lot of surgeons available in the market, and most of the patients will go to one surgeon only. It is more like the concept I explained before. So because of that, the competition is immense in the surgical fields. You have to consider this also when you're taking up a choice to surgical specialties. On the other side, paraclinical branches and branches like anesthesia, emergency medicine, and radiology, and other pathology and microbiology, nuclear medicine kind of branches, the competition wouldn't be there because, for example, if the hospital hires more anesthetists, and I would be more happy because they will actually we can have a more work-life balance, and we can distribute the work. So we never feel another anesthetist as a threat to us. So that is a kind of specialty you need to choose, I feel. So if you want work-life balance, hope you got it. This is about the competition. Okay. And the next point would be the overseas demand that you need to see, because after a certain point you will feel that the salaries in India are lesser and you will decide to go overseas. But that point of time your brand should be suiting them. So in one of the video you can see in my channel, Dr. Nitin told us already that service provision sectors are more valued in the Middle East, like anesthesia, radiology, microbiology, pathology, and all these branches would have a lot of demand in the Middle Eastern countries. So even that you have to keep in mind before making a choice of specialty. So the next important thing would be the ceiling effect. Let me try to explain you. So ceiling effect is like when you're getting a salary. So in branches like maybe anesthesia, radiology, and all the paraclinical branches, there is a ceiling effect. And it can grow up to a certain point, and after that, it's very tough and very difficult to grow. This I explained in many of my videos. But if you choose branches like surgery, pediatrics, medicine, and pulmonology, and more clinical branches they don't have a ceiling effect. If you have more patients, then there is a possibility that you can have any amount of salary. So for more ambitious people, I suggest and I recommend to go for branches like this where there is no ceiling effect. Okay, if you're okay person, I want a work-life balance and that kind of a person, then maybe you can choose branches within the which will fall under the ceiling effect criteria. Okay. So next is the hospital setting capacity. Hospital setting capacity means for a doctor to set up a hospital, the most easiest way would be to take a clinical branch and then develop a patient base. I'll tell you what, rather than doing MBA, you need to have a patient base. If you have a constant flow of patients, then investors would be ready to come to you and they will invest money and they will make a multi-specialty hospital with you. Okay, so if you want to set up a hospital, go for general medicine, general surgery, orthopedics, or pediatrics, or any patient-facing branch, and develop a patient base. Whether it is town or a city or village, doesn't matter. If you have a patient base, you can make a hospital. Okay, for people who want to have their setups, who want to have that kind of a respect, and who want to, have autonomy, and who don't want to work under somebody, should go for these kind of branches. So next is the place to settle also matters when you choose a specialty. For example, if you want to settle in a city, then branches like anesthesia and going into critical care or doing paraclinical branches would be better, I feel so. And even radiology is a very good branch if you want to settle. Nuclear medicine and those are very good. And for towns, when you plan to settle, medicine, surgery, pulmonology, and all those branches are very good. If you ask me a question, if I do medicine and surgery, can I practice in city? Yes, you can practice, but you need a super specialty degree. So if you are a MS general surgeon, then you have to do MCH or a DNB super specialty, and then you maybe need to work under a senior surgeon for a period of minimum 8 to 10 years to learn the skills. So you need to develop the skills. You need to have a very strong marketing strategy, and you need to have very good communication and soft skills. Only then you can become a very uh, specialized clinician to settle with these particular branches in cities. So, and along with this, you need a very uh, you know a relentless ambition, I feel, to settle as a surgeon in city, because there is a lot of competition, right? So this is how you have to approach. So medical legal issues also you need to factor in when you're choosing a specialty. When I did the research, the maximum medical legal cases are on anesthetists and plastic surgeons and gynecologists. I'll tell you the reason why. Because when a patient comes for a beauty correction or a patient comes for anesthesia, they don't accept something going wrong. That is the problem, because we have never explained risks to them properly. And I feel it is risky to take these branches if you consider medical legally, because India is going to become like USA in future, where you might see ads on newspapers and TV saying that if something is going wrong during your surgery, lawyers might put these kind of ads saying that we can sue doctors for $1 million or something like that. So this our world is going to change in future, and it is not very distantly. It will happen very faster than you imagine. So when you're choosing, factor in this also. Okay. So next factor you have to consider is the stress in work-life balance. So if you ask me genuinely, maximum stress will be there for clinical branches like surgeons and physicians and any kind of clinical branch actually. In that way, anesthetist stress I would consider lesser than surgeons, because it's an because patient come to surgeon. If something goes wrong, they would expect the counseling from the surgeon. So surgeon will always have a pressure of giving the best result. If something goes wrong, then he needs to deal it. So it's an immense pressure. Okay, so who can deal that is, as I told you in the beginning of the video, if you're ambitious and you have the drive and hunger, only then go for surgical branches, because it's going to be stressful. Okay, if you want a balanced life and all these things, then maybe you have to choose non-surgical specialties. So another important thing is you have to play the game which you like. That is the most important thing. Otherwise, life doesn't excite. So basically, if you are excited by a medical branch, or if you are excited by rounds during internship, and then go for medicine. That's it. There is no confusion in that. If you're excited by a surgical branch, or if you're excited during surgery during your internship, then go for surgical branches, because the choice should be done by you. Somebody else should not impose that on you. That's the most important thing. So play the game which you want to play, and you have to decide that. Only then you'll get ownership on that, and you'll start loving it. So the last and the most important point is the golden point, the myth buster. The branches that you are seeing in the thumbnail are not the top branches according to me, because in future it is not going to work out like that, because those branches are very competitive and saturated. So how you need to think is you have to go into areas where people are not entered yet, like interventional pulmonology, onco anesthesia, and interventional radiology, where they do a lot of intervention. So those are the areas. If you can choose, then the competition would be lesser, and that requires a lot of years of effort. So barrier will increase. So you have to enter areas where the barrier is very high. For example, if you want to become interventional radiologist, then you have to finish your MBBS, MD, and then you have to do a DM or interventional training in some big center. So there's so many barriers actually. When the barriers increase, people coming into that zone will decrease. So that is how the competition comes down. So I feel that is the most important point, and with that I would like to finish. So all 10 points are in front of you now. You choose what you want to do. Okay. As usual, Dr. Dheeraj Masapu logging off. Roger that.